Today we are going to see how to write the methodology, and that is a very important part in methodology. Methodology is written in two types. Okay, normally method you cannot see this in any applications or any paper. It is by experience. So when you talk about the methodology, normally people will have an idea that the very big differentiation between methodology and the result and discussion is a very big issue. Okay, results and discussions. Okay, and this makes a very big problem for the people. So I can make a very simple note on this part is that whenever you are asked to write methodology, when you write methodology, okay, you try to have a block diagram, block diagram, block diagram. You try to explain your block diagram, okay, and then you will have the block explanations, block diagram, block explanation, block individual explanation. And as I said in the previous class, you have to justify why this part of blocks is there, why this particular block is being adapted, why not other blocks is being selected. Justification has to be given. See, if at all you see this justification, if you do your justification, you will be doing the justification not more than half a page. There you will be held up. Actually, when you are writing your methodology, it should be in a different way. Okay, not that explaining the block diagram, not why you are justifying why you have selected it, and you don't think that it is going to become a very big part of explaining the blocks and then necessity of the block diagram. Beyond that, there are two types of writing here. It's a very important thing I want to say very clearly here. Uh, that writing can be methodology writing can be done in two ways. If you write for elsewhere journals, it is different. When you write it for high impact factor, is different. Of course, when I talk about high impact factor or low impact, I can classify this elsewhere Springer style of writing and IEEE writing style. See, when you look into the IEEE, okay, normally if you take any transactions, the methodology part will have analytical explanation, analytical explanation. It means that you derive something, you come to a conclusion. How come without any mathematical equation you can attain your what I can say blocks? There will be some analytical equations, and that is how if you take any IEEE papers, you'll have a lot of analytical equations, especially in transactions. You do something, you should have some manual calculation. Same thing should be done. For example, if you are doing something with antenna, okay, antenna design will be there. Antenna design will be there, manual calculation will be there. Then you simulate it. Then you go for hardware. This is how you make it. So when you write your methodology block diagram, analytical will be there. Especially in IEEE, you can see a lot of these type of analytical writing. Okay, IEEE. IEEE only accept this type of analytical writing. To make your analytical writing very good, your paper will be success. And of course, you may not have any idea to have this analytical writing. And because analytical writing needs what I can say in-depth analysis. It is called breakthrough research, or the other research is called groundbreaking. Groundbreaking people will have the analytical method of analysis because they would have studied 100 papers. They implemented it. They have implemented it. They would have implemented it. And now, after implementation, you get a lot of ideas analytically, and that is a very important thing. But of course, Here you will have a very big issue how to go ahead with analytical, because the full-time researchers can able to do this probably. And if you are doing your research in continuously in the same area for many years, 2 3 years, you can do this. And that is how I believe that analytical method of writing is there in the methodology part. Now, when you talk about the other way of writing is that when you go for elsewhere or something, yeah, you in Springer or standard Springer, they'll divide this as modules. Modules. I don't know how many people have seen this modules. Minimum there should be 3 modules to write about the methodology. The entire block can be segregated into not as a blocks, modules. I think you can understand module. What do you mean by module? Module is different, blocks are different. See, for example, if I take something about, I'll just give an example. I'll just go ahead with one filter. Okay, I have one filter. I'm just talking about image processing filter. Then I want to go for wavelet transform. Then I'll go for machine learning. Now this is my ultimate aim. Now explaining about the block is different. For example, if I'm using FFT, okay, and this will have YFFT. Second, Y I choose an FFT. Okay, now I want to make this FFT block as a section. I cannot make with only FFT and why I am selecting FFT other than the others. So as you select, as you put in your FFT in your block diagram, you would have shown only one FFT, one algorithm, which is the best you'll show. Whereas in theory part in the methodology, you can make as a module. What is that module? When you explain this module, you'll try to bring out one more block diagram saying that FFT is compared with, okay, wavelet transform, or you can say that SWT. So you can make a very big expansion of this one particular section. Then among that, yours is best. So it becomes a module. It becomes a module. Actually, this should not be done. Module is different. Module needs many phases. But still, for your explanation, I'm just making it like this. And when you talk about one particular, because when you show a block diagram, you will show only one algorithm or one box. But when you go for methodology, you try to add the answers of others. Okay, and you can make it as a section. It means that a module. Okay, and of course this is wrong. What I'm saying is wrong. It's a olden type of method of writing. But probably what I am trying to say here is that uh, very important thing is that this is a very olden style. But nowadays, but for your explanation and understanding, I'm saying what do you mean by module? How to write your particular one block into a very big block and make as a module. Okay. And when you talk about WT, I'm saying wavelet transform, you can compare with DWT, you can compare with a short time wavelet transform, you can compare, and among that, this is the best, Y is the best, like that you can write. Okay. But and machine learning, I can take regression, logical regression, like that. You have to stretch your part of your block diagram. But actually, this stretching is a olden type of stretching. But for your understanding, I'm explaining this. In nowadays, what the tradition they do, they apply this block diagram, and finally they'll have one block, single table or column. They'll just compare. That's it. FFT, different type of FFT, and DWT, SWT. Okay, for example, you have WT, wavelet transform, DWT, and SWT, and TYDWT, and everything will be there in one single block diagram, because they want to see only the results in the Tableau column, not their explanation. So this is a very important part. See, the block diagram has to be divided into parts as a module, not explaining a single block as a module. Module is a bunch of what I can say, applications and then methodologies you have applied and you have got your result. That's how you have to write. I've seen many papers. They have one block diagram. They'll explain about the block diagram. They may say why this block diagram. Then they'll go to the result and discussion. Each block will have their each result and discussion elaborately. If I put this in a form of pictorial representation, I can say like this. See, they'll have this IMRDA structure. They'll have this structure. See, this is what the structure. You'll have your introduction and your literature survey, and this is your gap. Narrow downing, your problem. Problem is narrowed down. Problem is narrowed down. Then you have to talk about methodology and you have to talk about discussion. This is how the simple structure. But normally our writing, if I put it in structure, it will have like this. Sometimes you may have this narrow down. Sometimes you may think that is narrow down. Narrow down means you know how to write the problem. It will be very specific. Then your block will be like this. It will be narrowed down. Actually, it should be same way how you write introduction. You take four or five papers and you analyze. Literature survey, 15 papers you are analyzing. Similar way, your methodology should be analyzed equally. The same part where up top region there. Similar way, your methodology and discussion should be there. In order to make it, either you can apply analytical skills. What do you mean analytical skills? When I am designing something with wavelet, you talk about the design of mathematical equation of wavelet transform, then you apply your wavelet for your own application. That is one part for IEEE. If at all you write Stringer or elsewhere, you divide your methodology, you elaborate that methodology part as modules, then you can do it. So now I'll give one small example. And recently we have done one paper, thermal imaging based, okay, children monitoring, autism children monitoring, okay. What is my ultimate aim is that through thermal camera, we are analyzing the children's behavior. What do you mean by behavior? Why we are taking thermal camera? Because the thermal camera will show their body temperature, okay, body temperature. If the person is aggressive, the temperature will be more. If the student is not aggressive, if it is he is feeling what I can say timid, it means that he's having fear or something like that, you know, his body will become chill. These two will be extreme and for autism children. So on that part, what is a very big problem here is that we take thermal camera and we did it. And then when I give this to any researcher, what they will do, you have captured the thermal images of the person. Okay, I'll just draw the block diagram. Then you will understand. Now I'm just going to draw this. How we'll draw thermal image, block diagram, thermal image. Okay, and you will take autism children, and I apply with DWT. Then I analyze repetitive behavior, okay, based on body temperature. Then I classify that whether it's an aggressive or non-aggressive. Now, see, when I ask you to give this area of block diagram, what normally people will do, thermal image. Okay, you say thermal image here. Okay, thermal image. How to make us and you say that autism children. See here, how I'm making as a module is that how I can make, if at all I ask for making as a module, divide this particular section. You may divide in two way, thermal image, why not visible image, why not IR image, autism children and normal image, normal person. You may take at that extent level, but still you can able to make this acquisition part in an elaborate way. You know, you can expand it in different way. When you really do that project, only you will get this. That is a very important thing. Here only they'll identify it very clearly. Okay. Now, how I will elaborate it, how I'll make it as a module, only thermal imaging of autism children. Now, I make a module here. This is a block, but module is different. Module I'll make the thermal image captured at veranda area, play area. The thermal image captured at the kitchen area, classroom area, and then in playing area, playground. And then very important thing is age wise, I want to just segregate it. So I'm elaborating that particular point. Actually, your block diagram is a hint. You have to make an elaboration. When you go on doing only, you will get this. That is the problem. You can easily identify any paper. Easily identify any paper by taking a paper, seeing that section, methodology part, how many divisions you are divided. By reading that section name itself, you can identify whether your work is really done or hooked up. What do you mean by hooked up? Hooked ups are in different way. It's very simple. You are not doing anything, taking an algorithm from the net, apply it, get one graph, put it out. No, it's not like that. See, when you do only, you know what is the difficulty. When you do only, you know the difficulty of your what I can say expertise. It means that you are still we can do prolonging. Expansion. When you really you are involved into that, you are really doing, then only you will get a lot of branches. Otherwise, it is very difficult to do it. Okay, and that is a very big problem. Where if you don't do the project and if you don't be involved in the coding or development, then to understand the concept is that how to divide it. When you keep on doing only, you can have your things. And especially when you are interest is also very important. Why not this will come? Why not we can do like this? Why not? I think if you do really, you will get that feel. I can make it very simple. I can make it very simple. If I'm interested in cooking, for example, first time I'll cook, next time I'll do. Why not this can be done? Why not we can add this so that it'll be tasty? So this is how you make your research in normal cooking. And that cooking, when you're interested only, you'll get it. For example, for namesake, you're cooking for the then you won't have that interest. You cannot be an elaborate perfect chef. Okay, you should have some critical thinking and expanding and doing it. So here, if we are going for a simple problem and I had some children photograph I'm going to take there and I go, why not I can take it in playground. He'll be getting sweating by that time, whether he's aggressive or wrong. Now there is a problem. So when you keep on going and doing your work, analyzing, you will get this lot of elaborativeness. Module sections will be there. By that way, they can easily identify. Okay, now you can. I'll show the sample papers. I have taken some sample papers. You can see this how the methodology part has been divided as sections. And when you go for DWT, now DWT will not by doing DWT here, this section, DWT and SWT. Now I made this section here, kitchen area, okay, kitchen area, play area, and ground area. I may have DWT, I may have SWT, I may have FFT, for example. Now I say kitchen area, DWT performs well, whereas play area, SWT performs well, ground FFT. Now I have to give the justification. Now I am elaborating that particular block. And this is how a block should be elaborated. As I said previously, the elaboration is just comparison by making this DWT with SWT is a general form. For example, you don't have kitchen and all. You just take DWT, SWT, DWT, compare it. And if you go for thermal image, I'll go for visible image, I'll go for infrared image. Just compare with that, which is the best. And that is not now accepted. Now they are accepting only this format. See, they are seeing how depth you are taking the class, how depth you involved in the research. And that is very important. Many people think that color graph will work out for the graph publication. No, wrong. If you put more diagram, it is easily understandable that for the showcase you are showing. Anyway, sir, many papers are published. Okay, well and good, no problem. It will be published. Okay, maybe a person without any proper knowledge of reviewing would have been accepted. Okay, very good, no doubt in that. Happy, well and good. But if you want to stay in this profession, you cannot do the same thing for many years. You have to improve your quality. You know that now I'll give a very small example. 5 years before, a teacher, if he has ME, is okay. A teacher with PhD is okay. A teacher with PhD is not okay. Now publication. A teacher has to guide the student by learning some programming language. That has become mandatory. See, it's keep on growing because the quality is being expected. And in that case, if you don't have quality, then there comes the problem. Now that is what happening here. The people who have a quality, they get a very good job. The people with quality, they are not recognized. Maybe they'll be recognized by taking 20%, 10% of the salary. This is what happening. Similar way, you can see papers are published. Okay, let it be. But your fame and your branding will come only we have a structured writing and a structured procedure of continuous papers. Okay, and that is what I said very clearly in this. The quality is being expected in writing. Okay, day by day they are trying to put it in a different way. They are analyzing the different way. They are putting in the other ways. In some elsewhere journal, they are asking the codes. If there are some journals, I can specify. Elsewhere journals, you have to submit the code. It's a mandatory. The review process will done within 1 or 2 days. They'll run the code because elsewhere is doing a very big research. Now, whatever the paper they submit, when they go for redoing it, they are not getting the result. It's a very big problem. 99.999% results are not obtained when we repeat it in some other place. I don't know. So that is what the reason nowadays they're asking the code. Anyway, in future, if you submit your code, your paper will be submitted within 2 3 days. Maybe it will happen. It will happen, and it will be coming under the copyright, and all those issues will be there. They'll make it very strong because some countries they will not have this. That is what the reason it's not there. But still, there are some journals. If you show your coding and attach to the file, they'll easily accept it. That is very important thing. I think now you understand how to write your methodology. Now I'll show you some papers so that you can understand. Now I have taken two IEEE papers. Okay. Now see, I'm just going to take IEEE and then I'm going to show this. See the topic itself, introduction, general WSN architecture for Power Grid. It's a literature review, overall architecture. Now key technologies in WSN. It is just like a block diagram. What are the sections are there? Okay, what are the sections are there? How they are doing it, and all those things you can see. Now, when you go for online system for smart grid transmission, you can see how they are dividing the sections. Subsections and subsections have been divided. So you can see how many modules they are elaborating it. So you can see this. All are elaborated on 3.8, and you go for your demonstration projects. Even in demonstration projects, you can see a lot of sections. Nobody would have been noted down when you read your paper. You would have not noted down the sections. If you don't have section there, you fail. That is a very important thing. Now, this is one more IEEE paper. Now, related works is over. See, now they are starting their work methodology. You see sections 3.1. Okay, and 4 and 4.1. See, they are not coming for the results and discussions. Then here comes their results and discussions, experimental results. So you can able to see how many sections are then experimental results. You can see this 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, but we never bothered about it. We make it, okay, methodology, you take 2 paragraphs, 2 pages, something like that, we'll finish up. If you divide this modulation by reading the modulation, I can easily identify that you have a depth view as I showed the diagram. That is a very important thing you have to analyze here. See, now I'll take the same thing for elsewhere. I just I'm just taking an example of your IEEE. This is your elsewhere paper. Now you can see this. See how many sections are there. You can see how many sections. This is a review paper. I'll just take some other paper. It will be good. I supposed to believe. I'll try to take one latest paper. Now I'm just going to take different areas so that you'll get a lot of ideas. Now you can see the abstract, introduction, and experimental. You can see the sections 2.1, 2.2, okay, 2.3, and you can see 2.4, 2.5, and results and discussion sections 3.1 and 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, and you can able to see the 3.6, 3.7. It's a very broad area. It means that the author would have done a very excellent work by narrow downing their results in modules, narrow downing the results in modules, not the narrow downing the entire paper. You can see these sections. Normally, we never do this because we know only the blocks. We know only one algorithm. You will just have it from the net. If you do really only, you can explain more elaborately. Otherwise, that elaborateness you won't get it. That is a very big problem. See, I can make it a very simple example as a layman example. If you are really fond of doing your research, then only your results are being involved and then your results are being reflected. Only those papers will be called up for consultancy, project proposals, all those things. Of course, you would have, you may think that you have more papers in networking, but when you apply for a project, your papers will not be accepted proposals. Why? Because this is the reason. Because the people who want to give the funding, they'll look into the paper. Every paper will be thoroughly checked out. Then only they'll go and see this. When you apply for any funding, they'll see last 5 years paper. Do you think that why they're asking last 5 years paper? For example, if you take 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, the writing sale should have improved. It shows that you have real interest. And then your writing sections should have been increased because your elaboration on that particular problem narrow downing is different. Elaborating on that particular part is different. That is very important. I can give one small example. You know that everybody. I'll just take a small example because I learned this example giving from the textbook from Fundamentals of C from Bala Gurusamy textbook. He gives a very beautiful example for making the algorithm, and he gives a very beautiful example. What do you mean by your what I can say, your algorithm and then your flow diagram, flow charts, differentiation. So he gives a very beautiful example from the kitchen, and I think many people can remember. Similar way, I'm just going to give a very simple example how to elaborate the section. If you really done this, then only you can able to get it. Now, making a tea is a very simple thing. Everybody knows how to make a tea. Everybody knows how to make a tea. This is also an experimentation. Don't think that why I'm taking tea, why not the other thing? Because so that this example will sit in your head and you can able to recall it when you write a paper. Making a tea is a very good example. Very good example. See, many people knows that they some people know without interest. They doesn't know what even the taste of the tea. They'll take a milk and they'll put the tea powder and the tea dust, not the powder, tea dust, and then they'll add some sugar. They filter it, then they'll give it. Okay, and this is one type of tea. The other type of tea is that you make your tea to dust to boil, and then that boiling, after certain boiling, you filter and you put it in the milk separately. That is one more part, tea. Okay. Whereas if you are really interested in cooking, that should be very important thing is that the tea, if you heat the tea at the low temperature, it means that it should not be boiled high, it should not be boiled low. So you have to take the tea, it should be in a wide spread pan like structure. Okay, pan like structure should be there. And so that the heat will be always less. You should not have a high temperature or boiling your dust in the water, because you would have noted it. You should make it in a small burner. You should make it in a small burner. If you go and see Keralite, I think you can see in Keralite teas are different, whereas the tea taken by the other states will be different. The Keralite will keep the tea a mug-like structure in the low temperature. It will be 24/7. It will be having its heat over the dust. It will be very light heat, because if you heat more, the essence and the taste will be evaporated. So what they'll do, they'll make the tea to boil at a very low temperature, and they'll select only small burner, not the big burner. And you have to wait more than 15 to 20 minutes. The aroma has to come. Nobody would have listened about the aroma. Now, this is how the elaboration of the tea dust boiling system. And especially, very important thing. Now, the ratio is also very important. For 3 teaspoons of tea dust, you cannot put more water or less water. It should be nearly 1.5 glass, and that slow eating should become about 1 glass of water when you filter it, because that essence would have come down to the liquid. Okay, slow heating, slowly it will come. If you keep it, you can try it. You just make a tea, make it in high temperature and put your tea and you taste it. And you put it in low temperature and you test it, you can see the difference. The taste will be different. So this is how you are elaborating a small thing. It shows that how far I would have done it. I would have tested it. I would have looked into that particular experimentation. This is also an experimentation. This is also a very good experimentation. I don't think that it is a kitchen item or something like that. It is also a tested item. If you look into that temperature, that aroma should come, and that aroma, at the maximum end you can get it. Then you have to take, and then you have to filter it out. And moreover, when you are mixing your milk, the milk should not be in high temperature. That is also very important. That will also spoil your taste of the tea, because already tea is having a very big problem, that it should not go for high temperature, because in high temperature the aroma will go, the taste will go. Okay, so when you are having a milk, now what we will do? We'll have a hot milk and then we'll put it, and that is a problem. So this is what the very simple experimentation which you see daily in your home. How do I present it? Because I look research into that particular experimentation. If you do this and if you write it, it gives a very attraction to the reader. Really, you have done it. And this is what the module you separate it. The simple dust boiling is a very beautiful example to give an elaboration of that particular part, the module, that module. If you take one particular module, no, you can elaborate it on this. For this, you can attend many. Don't try to attend MPTL. Don't try to attend all those things. You just attend foreign lectures. They'll keep only one equation, and they'll talk 1,000 times about the same equation, different angles. It shows that how far they would have involved in that equation. They would have been explained. You would have been felt by doing the simulation, doing the real-time experimentation. Then you would have been explained. If you can go for open courseware, never IITians never give OCW as a lecture. You just go and see OCW lectures. Very beautiful lectures. Very beautiful. If you don't see OCW, nobody will go for IITian lectures. IITian will be only 25% when you talk about OCW. Very beautiful lectures. They'll explain about single equation a different way. That too, mathematics is a very different. I'll give one example. You can just go and take one topic called wavelet transform. You go and see videos from wavelet transform. Similarly, you go to Rowan University, you see how he is explaining the same wavelet transform. A layman, when he reads it, he'll get the information. Even a management people reads that wavelet transform, will understand very easily. It's called Rowan University wavelet lectures. You can see this in the books. He had given 5 parts. I supposed to believe that's a very beautiful lecture. And that type of lecture, by giving the image, by seeing the pictorial information, he explains very beautifully. And that is how he is having the involvement in the research. So this is how, if you do it by seeing this, your funding will be cleared. Many people know that I have PhD, I have papers, but I'm not getting. Why? Because your papers are like this. Your papers will be thoroughly viewed. Your papers will be monitored thoroughly. And of course, this is an experience because I do have many funding. I have applied many funding. I went for many presentations, and that's the experience I'm sharing. I made some many people to go to that funding because I write the documentation and all those things for the people, and I submit the documentation, and novelty is being given to them, and I would have seen the feedbacks and all those things. So it's a very important thing. And do you know that previously when we are getting the funding, I used to write the proposal. When they go for PPT, I used to make the PPT. When the people who goes taking my PPT, they are being sent out very easily at the single stage itself. Why? Because they'll identify their by the speech itself. Because they would have taken somebody's source and he's trying to say that this is my child. That is the problem. If you are really grown up your own child, then only you know it. How he goes, how he behaves, and all those things. No, you're just borrowing a children and going and presenting. This will be easily identified. It's not a very big thing. And you can say, sir, some people got the funding. No, every time competition comes up, your talent will not there. Later on, you can have international funding. It is going to come. And we are going to take a very big class about international funding. Okay, how to get international funding. A very beautiful topic because only we are thinking about government funding, and we know how to take consultancy, that's all. But international funding is a different thing. That is a very beautiful area, and that needs a elaborate knowledge about papers and writing research. Then only you can go for that. So this is how I can able to explain how to write your methodology part. Methodology should be elaborated in sections. Not that I feel that making one paragraph as a section. That section should have more information, and it should be like a section. See, making a simple example, T example, it's an experimentation. I said, I given a lot of information. How do I know this? Because I really done it. I have checked it. I have done that. I made the T. I used to see why the T is not the test. Repeatedly, I'm looking into that area. That is not the reason I was able to do this. I don't know how many females are attending. They would have not even known about it. Some may known, some may not taken care. Just like that in Haribari we are doing, that is there. But how many would have tested when I ask you to make about their expert kitchen item? How far your involvement is there? I can able to get it very clearly. Okay, that is very important. Similar way, your recommendation is also how far you are going inside, how far your interest was there. Only because the output depends upon different parameter. When you take an experimentation, it's not that the result should be exact. No way, no way. Now you have seen recently COVID, the side effects are there, blocks are there, but still people are going. Who is bothering about it? It depends upon the percentage, how it's curing. What is the side effects, adverse effect? We'll see later on. And how do you justify it? How it kills the cells? That is a very important thing. Right now, I have this. Okay, that is very important. Okay, and that is what research. Okay, now how you write the paper is very important. I don't know how many people have seen last 1 year, lot of COVID papers are coming up. Very beautiful, beautiful papers are coming. Very beautiful papers are coming. I really shocked to see this. And I've seen some new papers in lung sound itself, and they have wireless stethoscopes and doing a lot of things. Really, I'm very happy to see this lot of research. We are thinking about only COVID and we are trying to recover, but researchers who felt their COVID, they tested themselves, they have published a paper. See, that is what the research. We think that what happens when the COVID has come, but that fellow keeping himself an experiment, he made a lot of experiments with the COVID, and he has given a lot of comments by doing some management, and then that is stress management, psychology papers, and the temperature management. Every papers are coming out. So that shows the involvement and analysis of one particular experimentation. So what I'm trying to say, you make your methodology in a broad way. Think, if you really there, so of course, if you really there, why not it can be done? Why not it can be looked in that way? If you have that critical thinking, this will come very easily, and that is very important. Okay, and you can analyze in a different way. You make your methodology in a different way. How to get this idea? That is one more important. See, now I'll take one WSN paper. I have one algorithm. What algorithm? SAM optimization algorithm. Okay, SAM optimization algorithm. Okay, I applied in WSN. Okay, well and good. I never want to be opposing that. Well and good. Okay, now SAM optimization, WSN algorithm. Now, what will be my result? Delay, throughput, and simulation time. And then you say NT and delay. That's it. No, it's not be like this. Elaboration. If you really done it, you will understand. When I apply this SAM optimization algorithm, my processor gets heated up, and by that time, how many nodes are connected is very important. Okay, how many nodes are connected? What is the temperature, heat arising on the processor makes the delay in the transmission. If you talk like this, then you are really done it. You can able to understand. And this is how you have to make it. When I do some management analysis, if some people are from management, I'll just talk about absenteeism, because I have done some papers in absenteeism in the company. Absenteeism based on what parameter? During the month, because of the age, because of the family environment, or this absenteeism is because of what I can say, superior, it means that immediate supervisors, the behavior of the immediate supervisors, or the job given or the section or allotted to them is not interesting to them. See, lot of parameters are there. Not that absenteeism, I go that absenteeism, how many people are absent in this section, and they are given the leave form and they will check it out. If you are really the person is interested in that area, you will come the next day. And that is very important. In absenteeism, I can say one fellow, if fever, he will come to the job one day and he will again half a day, then he will come one day, then he will take leave another day. It shows that he's taking a break and coming inside, because he thinks that I can manage, I can come. Maybe two reasons: because of finance or because of the job involvement. And that is there. No, we also do this. If you're really if you're really interested in particular job, what we'll do, even though fever, okay, we'll start doing it. Okay, we'll try to manage because I have some energy, I can do it. Then if your energy is exhausted, then you will go down and then you come back once again. And this is how you do it. Similar way, when you do your experimentation, you should have this type of elaboration. That is very important. And that is very, very important to get your what I can say, these sections to be divided. And you should have more involvement, not that a single module of explanation of one block diagram and then one tabular column should not be there. You think about it, you involve yourself, you put your views, you make how you can divide it, you think how you imagine. Imagination is very important for researchers. Now you will put a question, how sir imagination will be there? Now I'll put a one simple question: how do they launch their land rover in the Mars? Somebody went in the Mars. How they identified that that particular spot will be sand area? Why not it's a water area? How? They have their own imagination. If the earth is spinning like this, if the Mars is in this direction, and probably there will not be any water, because here in say they're correlating and they are imagining. Imagination is important for a researcher. Why not we can do like this? We'll see, go and see how it comes. You try in a different way. That is very important. Of course, we are not doing this because still today we are only thinking about only if loop and for loop. What is there? We are copying and we are doing it. That is the reason we are not going beyond. We don't have critical thinking. We don't have critical reading. That is a very big part of the sections to be divided and the modules. Okay, that is very, very important. So to divide the modules of your results and discussion, your in-depth involvement in the experimentation is needed. If you don't have in-depth analysis, at least you go for critical thinking and then you can write it. As I said in WSN, why you want to go for routing? If I go for routing, my processor may get heated up. Okay, if I'm going for SAM optimization, if there is any turbulent flow, if there is more wind, if it is in micro wind area, there the humidity is more, how my data will go? There will be, you are not thought about it. That is what they are expecting. Because we know only, I have seen many very beautiful computer science people papers, load management, that's all. They doesn't know how the load comes. What is the switch really used in the environment? They never know that. They'll take simulation, they'll put load is there, I'll put an algorithm, I'll give, no, it's not like that. You at least you relate, imagine yourself in real time, then you analyze, you will get lot of modules to be divided up. This is what I can give out of my experience. I think I think I can stop here.